Hello everyone and welcome to another Team Top Deck testing video. With you again today is Zerda. Given the last few days I've been playing with a little bit of Is It Blitz or Standard Delver, today I figured I'd switch things up for all of you and start playing a little bit more Teamer Reclamation. Now, as of yet, I don't have all the wild cards I'm going to need to have the most powerful version of this deck, just throwing that out there now. I do, in fact, still need another copy of Uro, and I would like to get a few more one more Temple of Epiphany. I think the temples are very, very good in this deck, and I don't have any Temple of Mystery, but we'll work towards that, as well as the last copy of Castle Vantress. This deck is still pretty close. Changes since last time is I've cut a Fabled Passage to play more temples, even though it is technically like a tri-land the turn you play it. We have 4 tri-lands. The mana is completely fine. We don't need green for that much. Just some very important cards, and we only ever need one source anyway. Although getting blue-green is ironically one of the most important things. Red has become even less important. We only need it for the explosion and the dragonfire. I cut the Storm's Wrath. I'm trying out what most people are doing right now, although I'm keeping the Shark Typhoons at 4 as a way to help keep Teferi in check, because that is very, very important, which is also why I've opted to keep the, take the negate, but not the, what do you call it that most people are running right now, Essence Scatter. Keeping the Essence Scatter is another Thassa's Intervention. On the play it can counter a Teferi, on the draw it can't. Mystical Dispute at 3 because Teferi is really annoying, and this card has uses outside of countering it. And kept the Scorching Dragonfire instead of the Essence Scatter because, once again, it can deal with a Teferi, which I find to be incredibly relevant. But that all being said, I also upped the counts of Omen of the Sea, because I find that most of the time I'm losing with this deck, it's because I've kind of just not found the pieces I need. I'm counting on Blast Zone to take the slack for Storm's Wrath, so I'm imagining I'll be using it a little more often. And let's hop right into some games and see how this goes. After today, I am planning on... Nope, not draft. There we go. Wrong again. There we go. After today, I'm planning on trying to put together some form of a control deck for current standard, although I do not have very high hopes given, you know, exactly how the format is. At least not on my budget, without any Teferis. But if I can build up a budget control deck for all of you, I think that would be some good content. Opponent goes first. Their Luris deck. I have a Dragonfire, a Mystical Dispute, and nothing else. This is I guess I have a Blast Zone, but this is still a pretty easy mulligan. I'm looking for something a lot more proactive in this kind of a matchup. Alright, so this is a very dangerous hand to keep, but against Luris, I'm going to go ahead and do it, because I do have one of the very key pieces in this matchup. And I'm going to go ahead and ship the Mystical Dispute. The Thassa's Intervention just does more, and it comes online at the same time. I will be leading on the Temple, even though Castle Vantress is still likely to come in tapped. I know what I'm looking for, and this is, you know, this has the potential to be untapped later. Here's another Thassa's Intervention. Alright, lands are what I need. So here I am going to shock, and I'm going to pass the turn. If my opponent does anything that needs killed, it's likely going to be the priest. I'll allow this to resolve, because if they activate the priest, I don't much mind. I will do this in their Declare Attackers. I still have a land for next turn, so I'm not too rushed into the Omen of the Sea yet. And I'm doing it now so they won't be able to make use of the mana. that they will get if they activate, and putting them in a bit of an awkward position, because if they sack, they don't do the 1 damage there. Basically, this is just them drawing a card, but sacrificing some on-board presence. And I think this is a slightly better play than having just done it before, because now my the board position is just a little more manageable. Alright, Lampid. That is one of the cards we didn't want to see. So I am going to Growth Spiral here, because if we hit a land, we can potentially, say we hit an island, we can potentially also Omen this turn. Oof, awkward. I'm gonna go ahead and put in the Castle Ventress. There's no way to get them all untapped. And I will pass the turn. Here, I'm gonna go get a blue source. And Reclamation comes down next turn. Ooh. Oh wait, that's not too much of a problem. I mean, the Lampid does provide a sack outlet, which could be a little dangerous, but given the mana restrictions on it, I'm not as worried as I'm just gonna fetch here, but I'm not as worried as if it were a priest, which would also ramp them and draw cards. Does still do a decent amount of damage though, so I do need to be very wary. And this is one of the reasons that previously I was running Storm's Wrath. So if I need to here, I will fire off a Thassa's Intervention to, what do you call it? To start digging. No, I think I'm going to save it for now. Which means... Alright. Let's see, if they play the Lurrus, they'd have the mana to pay for the Thassa's Intervention if I fire off the Omen here. But there's no reason for them to play the Lurrus now, so I'm going to Omen looking for another Dragonfire. Or an Expansion Explosion. It's not exactly what I want, but I don't think it does enough, actually. Let's see, because I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it only gets to block 1. Yeah, that... I guess it could stand in front of the Lampid. So I'm going to take it. End of turn, my current plan is to crack the Omen of the Sea. See if I can dig for something a little better than what I've got going right now. Set a stop at my end step. Huh. Another Reclamation. I do want one eventually, I think, but I don't think I need it right now. I'll go ahead and take the Scorching Dragonfire, though, so I can get that Lampid out of here. Stop on my end step. It's important to note that I need to be careful and leave my Thassa's Intervention mana open to stop a Lurrus from them getting this back and potentially ending me. There we go. This is also unfortunate that I have to make the shark in my end step to have it be large enough. So I'm going to make Death Touch, and the other one's Menace. A 2/2, I believe, which is big enough to deal with basically anything they have while also keeping my mana up. Well, not anything, but it will trade with basically anything. So the current block plan is 1-2. Omen of the Sea isn't bad. Alright, they're gonna start drawing cards. If there were a good life gain for no real cost card in current standard, I would love to play a black version of Reclamation involving Castle Lochran. But the opportunity cost of the card is just so high that I don't think it's entirely feasible. Oof, Cruel Celebrant. There's no way I can win if that comes down. Which is sad for me, because it means I'm not going to get to advance here. But I'm not about to let them have a ping per death and have me more or less dead on board. They'll just stay back with that and swing in. And then if I block that ever, I die. So I'm really hoping that their last card is nothing. I cannot block that. So I will be blocking their soldier. Down to 4. Blast Zone is actually pretty good here. I'll be using it during their upkeep. Do I have that luxury? Because I kind of want to not have to worry about the token, but I'm starting to think I don't have the luxury of actually doing that. Just because of mana. I'm going to start with Omen and see what that tells me. Alright, so Mystical Dispute has long outlived when it would be good. Another Omen of the Sea does dig me pretty deep. I'd get to see 4 more cards. I think I'll take it. Next turn, my plan is pretty straightforward. Thassa's Intervention, their Luris. Let's see. No attacks, because I don't want their 1/1 getting through. And end turn. I am going to just blow this up. And this is to try and conserve as much mana as I can to Thassa's Intervention, their Luris over there. It's fine, that doesn't do anything. Protection does not stop destroy effects, only things that target. Resolve. Resolve. Resolve all. And pass the turn. Our ideal turn here would be able to scry with Omen of... Well, I guess play Omen of the Sea, then scry with one of them. Luris. We have to stop. So it has to be X equals 3, which is, I believe, all of our mana. Yep. I was really hoping that somehow, someway, they just wouldn't play the Luris. Now, if they have the Call of the Death Dweller, we are very, very screwed here. Alright, just a Triumph cycle. We are at 2. I'm gonna Omen of the Sea. Bottom that. I don't mind hitting more lands right now. I do need to continue developing my mana, which is something I haven't been able to do. So let's activate the ability. I think now I need to be looking for a little more action. 1 land is fine, 2 is not so much. No attacks. Resolve. I'm not going to float the mana. I need to hold up the intervention. Ooh. So I can counter the Witch's Oven, and I think that means I need to. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm priced into this. I really wanted to draw cards with that. But if they have a cat, then I will just straight up be dead if they... I'll just be dead if they ever draw a cat. If I let that happen, so I think I have to counter it. They play a Castle Lockwain. And here's where they're going to start pulling ahead of us with that. Oof, Serrated Scorpion. Uro, please. That is not an Uro, but I suppose we take it. We can't use that Blast Zone, just something to keep in mind. Also worth noting if that oven... No, because then we could have countered that, but then if they ever draw a cat, I think we're going to be in that position anyway now, though. Neither of those save us. Bottom. Next. No attacks, we still have to block the 1/1. Float the mana. And I guess I don't need to be mana efficient here, but I'm still going to be. On the off chance I want to put counters on the Blast Zone. Ah, I floated it the wrong time. And the opponent with the unpleasant comment. So in the unlikely event that we need to tick up Blast Zone or die, I am going to leave it there. That is fine. Opponent, I think, is just looking for a cat or an oven. Either one kills us here. We are not quite just dead, but we are very close. We need to draw specifically Uro. Resolves. And you made us wait. Or you were bad-mounted. Alright, so we would draw the Uro. And if we had survived this turn, we would have been able to recover quite nicely. We'd have been able to, I believe, double Uro? No, we'd have been able to stabilize, though. Play Uro, blow up the 1-drops, and get there. But opponent had it, so it's all irrelevant. And in the next game... So that is another reason I want more Uro, is the life gain is pretty relevant, especially if you don't have any Wraths. Also, Uro is just kind of a messed up magic card, and you should be playing it. Alright, on the play against Karuga, so that means fires. This hand is alright. It has 2 cards that interact with Teferi, especially because fires likes to just downtick and try and draw as many cards as it can. It doesn't really care about sorceries at instant speed, because it can't play instant speed. So I think this is a keep, and we lead on Temple, play the Forest, Growth Spiral. We do need a 4th land, but mostly we're looking for our Wilderness Reclamation here. We don't need a 4th land that desperately, and we have 28 of them, so... Well, I suppose 25 left in the deck, a little more than a third, and we're going to draw about 3 cards before we need to hit our 4th land drop, right? We'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there we go. Just pass the turn here. Growth Spiral. There's our Wilderness Reclamation. Put in a tapped Stomping Ground. Grab another island. and we will drop our Wilderness Reclamation. Maybe there's some kind of a... Alright, Teferi is nothing we can do about it. Except for Typhoon plus Dragonfire. And if they bounce... Woohoo! Opponent has lost their Teferi, and we haven't really lost anything, really. So let's go ahead. Make a 2-2. And here you can see Teferi, not the powerhouse it used to be. Still very strong. Don't get me wrong here, but it's no longer the I have no counterplay to it card that it was pre-Ikoria. You could basically just counter it or be out of luck. So here I'm not filling my mana, I have no interest in a small expansion explosion or putting mana down for Thassa's Intervention. Fires of Intervention, however, I do feel takes the counter from us. And there you have it. Killed their Teferi, countered their fires. Opponent no longer really has any real traction in that game. There's nothing they're doing to interact with us, and we just untap, get to explosion them for 5 or so, hit the next few land drops, expansion, or I say expansion, I mean explosion them for a lot more the second time, especially if we hit another Wilderness Reclamation off of the first explosion. I have to say, having played formats that revolve around looping draw X card spells, such as the original Theros and current, this one ends games a lot faster than Sphinx's Rev did. Although I guess Sphinx's Rev just the opponent chose to keep playing even though they'd already lost. So Obosh the Prey Piercer does not mean I want double Mystical Dispute in my hand. If this was a Karuga deck, I think I'd be a little more tempted and still probably mull it. No, against Fires I'd keep this, but not against an Obosh deck. It's going to be much more aggressive. Alright, so here, I'm not sure what I want to put back. I'm definitely keeping. Because this could be useful. This is all of my colors. This is just, you know, more of my primary 2 colors. So I am not sure. I think I want to put back a land still, though. So I guess I'm putting back my mountain. And leading on the Triome, because it will always come into play tapped. And there are cards I might want to have access to on both 2 and 3. Alright, so I'm going to play a Blast Zone here and pass. The reason behind the Blast Zone is, you know, Scorching Dragonfire is a card that exists and I might want to have access to. I'd be interested to see if this is a Obosh aggro, given they didn't have a 1-drop and they are playing the Passage, or if this is a more mid-rangey version that kind of even likes to cheat on the Obosh cost with the adventure. Nope, it is not. It is just straight up Obosh Aristocrats. I don't think I'm going to Dragonfire the Scorpion here. Feels a little bit wrong to me. Pass the turn. My plan is to either Omen or Scorching Dragonfire. Heraldic Banner. I keep seeing that card in those decks. I'm not sure if it's actually good, but I mean, I keep seeing it, so maybe it is. And yeah, I'll take 2 from it. I think hitting my next land drop's a little more important. Oh, that's unfortunate. But I definitely need to draw land here. There we go. And here we get down our Reclamation, and now we're in a fairly strong position. I think I'm going to Dragonfire the Scorpion. Is that damage? Yep. So that means we Dragonfire in response to prevent it from 4-ing us instead of 2-ing us. Oh wait, that's right, Exile does not trigger. And on our turn, right, we are going to play the Triome. And I feel like we play the Uro here. Put a stop in our end step in case there's something we want to do. Just trying to get as much use of our mana as we can. And that was also a consideration there, was if we do hit the land, we might want to use it to create a big enough creature to block and kill the Obosh. Let's see, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It'll still die, but if we 1, 2, 3, 4, it wouldn't. So this is telling me that I don't need to have it come into play untapped, but I do want to make the shark during the end step. Yep. Resolve. Alright, that's not quite what we want yet. We don't have the explosion to pair with it, but it is still very good. It might even let us blast zone to kill the Obosh if they manage to get through our shark this turn without it dying. Mayhem Devil, not a card we wanted to see. That does an absurd amount of damage when you pair it with Obosh. Well, there's 2 damage. Note that as long as the Obosh and Mayhem Devil are both on board, we will not be using our Omen of the Sea, because this triggers off of either player sacrificing something. So that is something we want to be aware of. If you're facing down a Mayhem Devil, do not sacrifice your own permanents if it can be helped. It's also... oof, a Judith. Alright, if they find a thing to sacrifice, we're in trouble. Also, if they kill our shark, we're in huge trouble. Alright, so let's see. Nowhere near the cards required for that. I think I'm definitely gonna try and tick our blast zone up to 5 here. Because I'm not seeing many good alternatives to getting out of this. And I don't think our best bet is blowing up a Judith and a Mayhem Devil. I could be convinced that it is, but I'm not thinking so. Because we'd take 2, 4, 6 in the process and leave them with a Obosh in play and the ability to rebuild. Whereas if these do 1 damage per sack, we're in a lot better of a spot. There was no way I was attacking there, by the way. I was just waiting while I was explaining my thought process here. I suppose we'll do whatever we can, actually. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oof, we can't quite get it there. So I think we're going to put as many as we... so that next turn, if we don't need to blow up the Mayhem Devil and the Judith, then we won't have to. But if we do, we won't be putting ourselves just dead. Alright, so now, if we have to survive this turn, blow those up, we'll be able to, and if not, we can tick it up to deal with the Obosh next turn. Mayhem Devil resolves. This is very scary. If they play an Oven, I am blowing this up on 3. I feel like Woe Strider counts as if we don't blow it up, we're dead. But I also think that we're just dead because of the Obosh being able to ping down our shark and us. Let's see. 3, 6. Oh no, that we cannot survive that. So this is bad for us. This is a very, very bad position. But that is why we ticked it up to 3. We were hoping this would not happen, but it has. And here comes the Judith triggers. But at least we're only taking 6 damage and not lethal. We might make the mother of all sharks during our end step here. But Castle Vantress, not bad. Stop in the end step. I think instead we'll just make a shark that is exactly large enough to help us stay alive. I really wish we had enough cards for Uro, but that will be next turn. Move to end step. Place triggers onto the stack. Float mana. I think we're going to want to scry first, because we will get to see what we're drawing, and there are things we would want to draw here besides just Shark Typhoon. Oh wait, wrong. I want to bottom the temple. I'm going to try and draw the expansion with the Shark Typhoon here, making a creature big enough to survive, and also, hopefully, yes, I should have the mana to take down the Obosh. So I want a 4/4. I won't have the mana for that, will I? Alright, so I'll make a 2/2. Something to trade with Woe Strider. Draw the expansion. Resolve. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so we've drawn more than enough cards. I miscounted. I could have made a 4/4. I was thinking that we wouldn't have the mana. I don't know why. Autopay there. Resolve. And now we are in an incredibly demanding position. Sacrificing the Obosh does not counter the expansion explosion, is worth noting, because it has 2 targets, not 1. So it will resolve to the best of its ability. It does give them a scry, obviously, so yay, but there was no reason to not hit the Obosh. And pass to the end step. I will discard a Triome and a Breeding Pool. I should have discarded the passage, but I was very short on time there. And you make bad decisions when you're short on time. Noted that we will still be resolving our Uro next turn. We desperately need the lifeline. Alright. Play out the Blast Zone. It is the most likely to do something we want it to. Growth Spiral, it's mana positive with the Wilderness Rex in play, and the opponent has seen enough. We have a full hand, and we are drawing cards and doing things, and they don't need to see any more than that. Ooh, and we got a pack. As I keep forgetting to open them, I will actually do it this time as we get the pack. And what do we have? Frontland Felidar. Well, if that were... That's not a very good rare. I guess I would draft it, but I don't know. It seems a little bit underwhelming. Kind of more uncommon power, but I guess it gives all of your creatures that, so it's not bad. I mean, it's still good in draft. Tappers are pretty powerful sword, large vigilance creatures, but I just feel its power is a little low. Opponent goes first. They're on a Yorion deck. We have a Mystical Dispute and a Reclamation, and another means of interacting with Teferi, so I think we keep, especially given we have the Omen to also help us out a little here. There's nothing we would dispute on 2. There's no way we dispute a Growth Spiral in a Teferi matchup. I guess it could be Elementals, but I'm not going to risk that. And also, I can't think of an Elemental I'd hit onto. Black Source. Now they've got me curious. Still not going to counter that. Sultai Yorion. They have my attention, I will give them that. They also have my relief, as I didn't see a white source for Teferi. I suppose this could be the blue-green counter creature, but I doubt it. I do want both of those. I am very, very unlikely to try and cast the Reclamation on turn 4. But I still want the option should they tap out and allow me. Oh, I was trying to not play that. I didn't realize I said to put into play tapped. I was hoping to shock it in and hold up either Mystical Dispute or my Omen of the Sea there. Or even a 1/1 from Shark Typhoon to just get the cards churning. Huh. I'm really curious as to what my opponents are doing here. I don't really know what I need to be playing around. Like, what are they ramping into? Is it just there for the value? Probably not. There's probably something big they want. I'm guessing an Agent of Treachery? Because, you know, what else are you gonna do in this format? You want something big, you want Agent. I'll pay 2 in case I want to make a 2/2. I think if I'm doing nothing, then I want to make a Shark Typhoon token. Once again, that is fine. And I highly doubt 2 life is going to be a deciding factor this game. It's also fine. Do they just want that sick Yorion value? Noted that if they don't play a land before Yorion next turn, we will Mystical Dispute it because we don't want them getting that level of value. Omen of the Sea is fine. Yeah, so we would 100% Mystical Dispute their Yorion here. And that's exactly what we're doing. Also nice that we'll still get to Omen of the Sea. And start digging. Also nice that we're going to get to Wilderness Reclamation and then play another one. Because of the second Reclamation, I'm gonna ship the land there, otherwise I would be wanting it. And here we go, here's Reclamation numero uno. Holding up 4 mana Leak. Well, I suppose it's closer to, what's that card? Convolute, the 3 mana counter unless you pay 4. So 1 more mana than that, but also, hey, it could draw us 2 cards. 1, 2, 3. How about no? We want our Wilderness Reclamation and the lands to cast it. Please don't have a Mystical Dispute of your own. Please just scry. Alright, so that is a card I was worried about, but I wasn't. Alright, now this is excellent. So here, play out a second Wilderness Reclamation. We know they don't have a counterspell because 100% you just counter the Thassa's Reclamation and casualties us. Alright, so untap. I'm going to make a 2/2 and hold up Reclamation. Or Intervention, I mean. There we go. I don't think there'll be anything we can counter, but if they double spell and the second spell is a card that would give us a problem, then we'll still be able to deal with it. I don't like they shocked that. That gives me reason for concern. I think they have another... Yep, there we go. Another Casualties of War. So let's see. There's no way for us to counter that. And I don't want to cycle anything. I suppose I should have floated the mana, so that I could have interventioned X2 looking for something to do on my next turn. I'm not going to do it for X1. Just play a Triome out. Stop on the end step. And I'm gonna Explosion here to try and draw some cards. Especially because we have enough mana to make the second one a lot larger. And we just kind of want to pull ahead while the pulling is good and before they do something absurd with all of this mana they have. Nice. I also very much like the fact that we drew our negate. Means we won't have to worry about the third Casualties of War putting us back to the Stone Age. Also worth noting, our opponent is very much going to be drawing action for the next few turns. Omen of the Sea is not something I... Oh, that's right. I did not remember the fact that I would be tapped out here. Ooh, Nissa. I think we can kill the Nissa on our turn. So the Nissa is going to be more of a problem based on the creatures it produces than anything else, but still. Paradise Druid, not something we really care about. So let's see, 4, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so Shocking here lets us answer the Nissa, although it does leave us with shields down. I think that's just the reality we're going to have to accept as we take our card advantage and, as they say, choke on it. All these cards, no mana. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. If we had the second Wilderness Reclamation still, we would be in a much better position here, obviously. We'd also be able to Dragonfire, kill their 3/3, hold up mana for negate, and be on a clear board. I like that 2 went to the bottom. There's another Reclamation. I'm also a fan of that. I'm going to discard the Breeding Pool here. And I'm going to discard the Mystical Dispute. It has long outlived its usefulness. I think so has the second copy of Scorching Dragonfire and the Thassa's Intervention. I'd rather have a hard counter. Was that not 5? 2, 3, 4. Ooh. What's the last card I discard here? I want to keep the Castle Vantress. I guess I'll draw more lands, so the Triumph. Vantress is just really good with Reclamation, especially with 2 of them. So I'm starting to think that those omens of the green ones were here just to kind of provide some value, bring out the Yorion a turn sooner, and be something to blink there. So I'm not as terrified of the possibilities there. There's a Wilderness Reclamation, and it's always good to check if your opponent is just dead. 6, 12. Nope. Alright, and the opponent has seen enough. They do not want to play against the second Reclamation, even though they haven't seen the third Explosion. Alright, and hopping into the next game. And for everybody still watching, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and honestly, that is why I'm doing this. I'm trying to build the channel while I have off of work and do something with my life. See if I can chase that old Magic the Gathering content creator dream of mine. I doubt it's going to play out, but hey, gotta keep the dream alive, right? So going first, Omen of the Sea, Mystical Dispute, and Wilderness Wreck, 4 lands, cycling land. I'm a fan of this. I have all of my colors, I have stuff to do with my mana, and I'm on the play. So even if the Mystical, this isn't a blue deck, the Mystical Dispute will still be online in time to stop something atrocious. I think on the draw, I'd possibly mulligan this. Just the possibility of it being mono red. No, I think having the Wilderness Wreck, I think this is on the very, very, very low end of what I would keep. Like, I wouldn't keep any hand worse than this, basically. Now, on the draw, I'd 100% mull it no matter what, though. Yeah, on the draw, this is way too slow. This is the very low end of what I'll keep on the play. Looking at it again, yeah, exactly because of this. Let's see. I'm gonna play the... I think I'm priced into the Triome here, so that I can have Dispute open next turn, which isn't something I like, but I want to hold open Dispute, and this also lets me Reclamation on 4. And then I'll make up for lost tempo from the double tap land opener. Although I might never recover from this opener. I really like the little trophy here. So this was a, you know, design your own card because you're really good at Magic card. Playing the Castle Vantress, it's just better, and who knows when we might have to discard the hand size. I kind of hope they Embercleave me here, just so that I'll be able to efficiently use my mana. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but sadly I did not get Embercleaved. If our opponent does nothing here, then I am terrified of whatever's going on in their hand. Alright, Mystical Dispute as soon as we have the ability. The 1-drop into double 1-drop starter, though, is going to be really hard for us to beat. Oof. Alright, no, I don't think there's anything we'd have done. Alright, so here we're going to Omen before they attack. Looking very much for a Scorching Dragonfire. And absolutely nothing else. That is not that is unfortunately something else. So here, if they have anything, we're dead. Like, literal anything. If they're not holding 3 lands, I don't think we win. If I draw Scorching Dragonfire, is that even enough? Because that kills 1/2 creatures. And yes, we would be using expansion to kill it. Sharknado creates 1 more blocker. That is both good and bad for us. And that is the Nightmare. I'm no longer thinking that a shark from Shark Typhoon is going to do anything to save us. Wait for 0. Just need to use it to draw a card. And there you have it. We have lost. That being said, our opponent will not be getting the kill. That glory goes to us. Remember, kids, never let your opponent have it. Alright, here we go. Yes, I want to deal 2 damage to myself, and yes, I want my opponent to draw 2 cards. I want the win. Aha, got the kill. Alright. Next game. So after we sniped our opponent there pretty handily, I think it's time to move on to the next game. Forever Raymond. What are you playing, opponent? Opponent goes first. 3-land, Omen, Shark Typhoon against Luris. Against Luris, this feels a little bad. I'm really feeling the loss of the... what do you call it? I'm really, really feeling the loss of the sweepers in these aggro matchups. I think, at least for best of 1, they're very, very necessary. Maybe I'll play a cheaper one, Scorching Dragonfire, but I don't think I need to. I think I'm just gonna add those on back in at the end of the match. Or the end of the video, which this will be the last one. Alright, so this one, having the Shark Typhoon instead, makes me a little more tempted, but this being Luris, I can't always have on the draw against Luris. That's way too slow. I'll keep this one, though. Like any Luris deck, that was way too slow against Bin a Breeding Pool. Have a decent curve here. You have to be willing to keep 6s a lot more than 7s in a deck that revolves around getting to absurd amounts of mana with a very specific card in play to cast another very specific card. This is a combo deck. You don't just get to, you know, mulligan as much as you want and have the world still open to you. Break that one open. I'm going to at least do that for some fun. This is bad. This is the Cycling Luris deck. I don't think we have a particularly good matchup here. I don't think we ever have, though. Don't want to fully pass the turn. I guess at least they are playing the version that we have a better matchup against, which is the one with the tap lands in it. I feel like the cycling deck does not, by any means, need the ability to cast its spells. Just to cycle them and be aggressive with its cheaper white spells. It also doesn't need to take damage against, what do you call it? Against mono red. Do you have the Mystical Dispute, opponent? Or have I lost connection? Nope, neither. We're definitely going to take the Scorching Dragonfire there. Play a tap Breeding Pool. We don't want the Thassa's Intervention quite yet. Oops, almost thought for a second that I was resolving a different card there. And I will Scorching Dragonfire now, there's no reason not to. If they have the Fox, I have an Uro that hopefully won't be put on forever chump duty by the time they grow the Fox. They get another 1/1. We live with our life choices. Improbable Alliance, okay. So I see what they're doing. They're trying to do something a little more resilient. Okay, I do like this version more. I was thinking of the all-in versions and being like, I'm not sure they want that, but I was wrong. That's a very good card for the cycling deck. Put in the always tap land. And play a would otherwise damage me tap land. Don't have very many cards in the yard yet, but that can change very quickly. Opponent has a lot of cards in the yard. Wonder if there's some kind of room in the cycling deck for Uro. I don't think it's necessary, I just think it's capable of fueling out Uros from the yard, and that would be very funny and annoying. Maybe one day I'll do a Is It Blitz version that's a lot less budget with the Titans in it because of all of the, what do you call them? I'll go like Phoenix Uro maybe? Like Arclight Phoenix with Uros. Maybe with the other one I'm struggling to remember the name of. So, we are in a very, very tight pickle here. Our opponent kind of has us just got no matter what we do. I'm gonna look through my deck real quick. I'm planning on using some of my mana next turn, so I'm probably gonna play the last stone, so I'm not taking too much of a loss here by not just playing a tapped breeding pool. So I guess I have Sharknado. I could draw Wilderness Wreck into Wilderness Wreck. Oof. Once again, the lack of sweeper is very painful here. And I think my best bet... I just hit decline, didn't I? Well, I still think my best bet is to... get that... Huh. Actually, I think I'm going to expansion my Scorching Dragonfire to try and fill up the yard for Uro. No, I don't need to, because of the Omen of the Sea. That is very bad for me, though. I just... I just hit decline because I was thinking done instead of, you know, what it actually was. I am really digging this, though. The use of Improbable Alliance is just a way to generate value in addition to the other token generator. There's a 4/4. The feeling our opponent has another one and we are just straight up dead next turn, but we shall see. We shall see. Lands are not even remotely what we want here. So here, if our opponent cycles 2 cards, we are in a horrible, horrible spot. I actually don't think we can afford to try and play around Startling Development. So if our opponent cycles 2 cards, we're just going to Explosion something and plan to Uro next turn and hope we eventually get there. I suppose I should have considered using this to blow up the Improbable Alliance. Alright, they didn't cycle 2 cards. I'm just gonna pass here. See if our opponent does anything. They don't. We could still die. In response, our opponent could just be so far ahead that they don't need to and have a Zenith Flare and plan on using that whenever. But that doesn't mean that we have the ability to try and play around it. Yep, Zenith Flare. And there you have it. Another loss for us. Alright. So thank you all for watching. I know I'm not exactly the best Magic player around, but hopefully you find me at least a little entertaining. My theory crafting is a lot better than... I suppose my gameplay is a lot better than my theory crafting and all that. Honestly, if you have the ticks for it right now, I would be playing fires. I feel like there's a build to just attack any meta, and you always get to play a companion build. Whereas, let's see if there's a companion that this deck would want, and if we could potentially try and build around that. Let's see, what are all the companions? Include the ones we have not collected. Just the extra card, and having a potential blocker. Sadly, this Uro, which we are 100% playing, means we do not have access to Kahira, which is one card we would have liked. Obosh, no, we couldn't play Reclamation. Gyruda, no, why on earth would we play Gyruda? We can't play Uro. Though it'd be funny if Gyruda was still a big threat. If we were to play Karuga, we wouldn't have access to Growth Spiral. Although, we'd be able to play companions, play a lot more control-y version of the deck. I could see there being a Karuga, the Macro Sage version of this, but it just feels like it's a worse Fires deck. Sorry, Gigantha? Yeah. Expansion Explosion is just fairly key to this deck. So... no, I don't think there is a companion that we could get away with. I suppose Yorion, but this is pretty key being built around Wilderness, and there's not much we'd want to blink. Alright, so that is it for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. And I hit Control-Alt-F4 instead of Control-Alt-Delete in order to end the video. Have a nice day.